Hi, Lyssa here. And today I want to walk you through a coaching demonstration of getting to what I call an embodied grounded goal. I write about this in Light Up, so if you want more information, you can absolutely read about it there. But I think that it is so important that what we support our thinkers to do in our coaching conversations is to have a larger overarching goal that they're working on in the work that they're doing with us. And I call that an embodied grounded goal. And part of the reason is, and you can follow the link after this video, or you can find the link down below in the notes. I had a very interesting conversation with Dr. Boyatzis on my podcast, and it just clarified and honed in on what I already believed to be true, which is that we need to get past the idea of the SMART goals, these things that are very trajectory oriented, very focused on an end goal. And part of the reason is because from his research, I'll just use his research, I thought of this as conceptually in my mind, and that's why I wrote about it in my book. But from his research, what we're discovering is that what happens when we have a really fixed goal that's super smart is that we start to really funnel people towards that goal. And what ends up happening is the thinker has blindfolds on. They're only working towards solving that goal. And not only is the thinker blindfolded by this, but so is the coach or a thought partner who is working with that particular person. So what happens now is you have two people who are fixated on this goal. And the goal might be something like, I'm a great leader, or I lose 10 pounds, or whatever the goal is that they're wanting to come to coaching for. And so the idea is that when they're fixated and when we're fixated on this SMART goal, what happens is the capacity for creativity, for really looking at things from new perspectives and in new ways, gets sort of shoved to the side. And it's not that you should never have a SMART goal, but that we spend too much time developing them too early in the coaching. So one of the things that I've been doing in the work that I do with people, and I've been doing this for quite a while now, is work on what is an embodied grounded goal. I want a goal that the person feels like when they say it, it's like, yes, that is the energy, or that is the state of being that I want to be living into. And so what happens is, as we create a goal that is really much richer, much more somatic, and the person has the opportunity to really craft it for themselves, we end up not only with a goal that allows us an immense amount of creativity, because every little situation that shows up in their life will probably fit under that overarching goal, but it also really creates a stickier outcome. So even if the thinker or client, however you use the language, even if they've forgotten it sort of off the top of their head, it's still in them. As soon as you say, how are we doing with the overarching goal of XYZ? They will be like, oh yeah, I'm still working on that. Where you don't find that if they haven't really owned the goal that they're working on. So I'm a great leader isn't enough unless that is really what their goal is, and you've really worked on it at a deep level as to how they want to feel and where they notice that. What I have is another couple of examples of leadership goals that seem to have much stickier outcomes. And one of them had to do with how a leader was able to notice their team wasn't working very well, but then looking at how they treated their customers. So the recognition of the really vast difference between how they treated their customers versus how they treated their team. Out of that insight came a much more sticky goal, which is I treat my team like I treat my customers. Or in another situation where the thinker came to the idea of, I'm an open door leader. That made a lot of sense to them. I am an open door leader because all the things that were required courage wise, as far as what it means to be an open door leader, how that would change the dynamics of their team, all is encapsulated in this larger goal, this embodied, grounded goal of I am an open door leader. Very different than I'm just a good leader or I'm a great leader. Because we say that so often, but open door, that is so unique to that particular person. And so these eggs, as I call them, and I write about them in my book again, they're inspirational to the person. They're also a bit aspirational, but we want them to be written and spoken in the present tense. I'm already that piece. And then what's showing up? I have to have a difficult conversation with somebody. I have to say something difficult. I have to hear something difficult. What does it mean? And how do I stay in that energetic state of whatever this egg is that is who I want to be in the world? And so in this demo, I'm going to be demonstrating getting to an egg for one particular participant. And then we'll come back after the demo and see what you think.
I would like to start first. I mean, I've just shared a bunch about this embodied grounded goal, and I'd love to just sort of invite you to, when you think of how you want to be in the world, what are some of the things that are showing up for you in the way that you're thinking about that?
I think the thing that comes to me is integrity. So alignment and presence. The way that I want to show up, what I would aspire to be, as opposed to maybe the reality of the places where I have shortcomings and I'm continuing, that ever evolving process.
What
Yeah.
is integrity, alignment, and presence? And excuse my spelling. I'm putting in words in the chat, but as you think about these three elements, what are the indicators for you of those?
Of integrity, alignment, and presence. It is definitely a felt sense. So, obviously I work in the industry with people. So, I've got a lot of the skills that I need to work with people. And so it's, alignment of my, open mind, open heart, and I listen to my gut. So I almost have like a visual, like there's this like light bar that grounds me, but also connects me to a higher source purpose.
So it grounds and protects you. Is that what you said?
Connects.
Connects, grounds and connects you
Yes.
to a higher source.
Yeah, a higher purpose. Like I think of like my wiser higher self or, that to kind of like the universal oneness, the collective consciousness, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you're even hearing this, and I'm going to try and capture this real quick, my spelling is not on point today, so excuse me, universal oneness. As you're looking at this list that we're starting to collect of words that you've said, what's sort of standing out at you as important?
Honestly, I think the one that sticks out for me, Lyssa, is presence because without that, I have none of those other things. And it's an interesting thing because I just finished renewing my license, and my overarching kind of area that I was working on was peace, patience, and presence. And presence is the one that without patience, I don't have presence.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mhm.
I'm present, I have peace if I'm in the moment. Because none of that other stuff, the future or the past, exists when I'm fully present.
So if I'm hearing you, presence really allows for peace, and peace allows for patience.
Um, that's an interesting one. This is where I'm a little caught, I think, right now. Because I feel like there's this ongoing, um, almost like a dominant narrative or a resistance with the patience piece. I have it, I don't. I have it, I don't.
Hmm.
You know, there's
Yeah.
this that hurry up, get going. There's stuff to do, and then that takes it away. So,
Yeah.
but
So the pressure.
yeah, yeah. So, if I were to aspire, and I'm not sure, yeah. So I don't think peace and they're related, but I'm not 100% sure how.
Yeah. Yeah. And I put an equal sign, but that's only because I didn't hit my dash. So don't think I'm saying presence is equal to peace, because that is not what I heard you say, but it is how it got translated here on on our chat. When you think
It
of
is,
that,
and we just don't know it yet.
maybe it is, yeah, maybe it is, and we don't know it yet. Is you've been thinking also about this sense of presence. I would love to hear what that experience of presence is for you. Like when you're really in that moment of presence, what do you notice?
Nothing else exists. It's flow state. It's like that is where, you know what, there's almost like this, if I'm synchronized with the moment and the pace at which life is happening, or I mean, I have the experience of being synchronized or attuned with another human. There's like almost this third entity that enters your room in a sense of like, that's where possibility lies. And so that I just feel like that's that, it really feels like it's like it's the light, it's the play, it's the mystery, the possibility, it's like yeah, it's many things, it's everything.
Yeah, and the giggle that just showed up, what is it
Yeah.
telling you?
Well, it's just so vast. I mean, I don't even know if I can put words on it, right? It's more of like, I think what you asked me, which I didn't totally answer, but yeah, it is more of a felt sense, you know? There is a lightness, there is I can walk lightly, like with ease. And I see that in the way that I interact with the world too and other people.
I'm going to invite you to look at these words and begin the process of how do you own them as your own. It typically starts with a I am. It doesn't have to, but this sense of what are the words that are resonating for you as the I am. Again, inspirational, aspirational, but really speaking to that whole head, heart, gut alignment that you're talking about.
So, like, I am, in terms of my presence, is that kind of
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
I cut a little one. I walk lightly with ease, is something I heard you say. So it doesn't have to be I
yeah.
am, like I am deep belly laughs. It doesn't have to be that. But that sense of the owned state.
Yeah. Well, you know what caught me, what I said at the very beginning, where I was like, I'm connected and grounded. There's like this lightness, but this rootedness at the same time,
Mm.
which, you know, that's kind of what sticks out for me. I am heart-centered. Yeah. And that's what I would aspire to be really out of all of it. Like I think about the intersection. I keep doing this because I'm very visual, but
Mhm.
the intersection between, it's like this is the intersection of all
Yeah.
of it, right? And this is where my courage and my compassion lie. That's the power center.
Okay, I'm gonna put something here and you do not have to like it, but it sort of showed up as you were speaking. I am a synchronized heart.
Wow. Synchronized heart,
Synch-
harmonious heart.
I
Yeah. A heart in harmony. A heart in harmony that takes the resistance down from the impatience. I feel it, right? That's what I'm looking for because I'm so tired of my resistance. I don't want to continue to experience it. I can give it room to be there, but I think that that is there's a little shift. I know we're looking on the goal, but there was a piece that it fits, it resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does full state have any part in I am a heart in harmony?
Does, sorry?
Full state. That was seemed so important as you said it, and I could be wrong. I don't know if that has any place in this.
Well, I think full state would actually, in my mind, that is part of harmony because harmony is like that universal oneness. There is no resistance in there. We are interconnected. And
Yeah.
that comes into purpose, honestly, for me at this point, in many ways.
Suze,
Yeah.
may I invite you to say, I am a heart in harmony and see how that lands on you?
Oh, it's it. Like as you know what? This is just like so it. I have at work where, my day job where I work with people and a lot of them are very much they're disenfranchised and not privileged and whatever. Anyways, but I have a collection of little hearts and they're all different kinds of stones. So rose quartz and selenite and um just different kinds of stones, and each stone has an energetic kind of association to it. So, I mean, this resonates. This is what I was kind of looking for, is that piece, right?
Would you be willing to say it out loud?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yes, I am a heart in harmony. I am a heart in harmony. I aspire to be a heart in harmony.
May I make an observation?
Yeah.
What shifts if you just are a heart in harmony?
Well, then I don't have something to work on.
Right. So
There's no
what keeps
resistance.
you in the harmonic state, right? Like what
Right.
keeps you there and what takes you out? And how does that then allow you to discern choices to be made?
My awareness and making room for that to be so. There's nothing that stops me necessarily from I am a heart in harmony.
You are already.
Yeah,
That exists inside
it
of you.
is. Yeah, yeah,
Or you wouldn't have said it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the reason
Right.
oh, go ahead. What did you just showed up?
Well, no, it fits. It's, I mean, you don't know me really well, but that's my character. I'm a constant doubter of myself. So, for you to catch that is quite powerful because that's really, um, yeah,
Yeah. And I think that's the part that's so powerful is that when we just own it, I am like, I mean, for me, I am deep belly laughs. Does that mean that I never get frustrated? Oh, hell no. Right. But does it mean I can get recalibrated, regrounded, realigned?
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's showing up for you as we've done this work?
I feel a strength in it, and it's like, to have a a phrase, that resonates. I am heart in harmony, but what it means to me on so many other levels is like a very, it's like a strong kind of place that I can more into. Even like you say, when those things that feel like they're, creating disharmony or pulling me off my center, not feeling as present or as peaceful as I would, like I could really play with this, I think, even in my formal meditation. So yeah,
Yeah.
grow it.
Yeah, grow it. As the hearts expand, right? The expansive heart in harmony.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And the invitation then is, as you're doing whatever the work is that you're doing, whether it's with a coach or however you're doing the work, the places where that isn't the state of being, how do you bring yourself back to it becomes the work of coaching, right? Or of whatever the self-reflective process, right? And to your point, part of the meditative process or the mind shift process.
Yeah, right. So then that is the piece that I will be able to come back to in future as I continue to grow and evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it becomes that grounding. Or remember the old days, they would, maybe they still do, but they would have like the water witch you could point to, the water with the two
Oh
sticks,
yeah. Yeah.
whatever. It's
The
almost
Dow.
like that. Yeah, the dowsing rods, right? Exactly. It's almost like that. Like, are we farther away or closer to? Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. It's a felt sense, right?
It
It's like, am
is.
I honing in? Am I on my path or am I, off to the edge? Am I falling, into the ditch here? Or am I coming back into the,
Yeah.
the main part of the path? I can feel that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Does
Yeah.
this feel like an okay place to bring a close to the conversation?
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much, Lyssa.
You're very welcome. I'm sure there will be a few questions for you at the end of this about your experience. But I'd love to invite the rest of the group back. And I'd also like to tell them all, thank you so very much for not writing in the chat while I was doing that so that I could see what I was writing. And again, I don't do this in every session. This is really how I work with people, only in coming up with this grounded, this bigger embodied grounded goal, or their egg, as I like to call it. And then in like a follow-up session, which I offer to Paula because she was my partner in this. In a follow-up session, it becomes more about what's showing up for the work then, knowing that the overarching state of being that my thinker is wanting is I am a heart in harmony. Can we even just in our own selves think of any of the places where our hearts are dysregulated? And that becomes the work we need to do, right? Because that's an experience we're having. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling X, whatever that is. I'm experiencing frustration. It doesn't matter. It becomes the place that the thinker has something to work on. So I'm going to stop talking and I would love to first invite Paula. What was that experience like for you? And then invite people also to raise their hand if they have questions.
It was, I really appreciate when you asked me to say I am, there was an ownership and a resonance there that shifted. And so I think that part of the process was quite powerful, and you didn't let me just kind of talk around it. You brought
Yeah,
me back to it.
I'm aspirationally a heart in harmony is not the same thing as the owned felt sense. So did I push back a little? What did I say? I'd like to invite you to maybe consider just owning it, what if you already are. Because it is so easy for us to other it. What happens when we other a part of ourself? We're saying we don't have it yet. Like we've got all this work we have to do in order to be this thing. You even said that exact words. Well, then I have no word. Like like I already am there. So what happens if we start from the state of already there? There was something that I just was reading about that said what we say to ourselves first thing in the morning, it impacts and affects the brainwaves that we have for the rest of the day. And so, and because of the way that our brains are designed to look for problems, to find things to solve, to not be good enough, to be anxious or worried or whatever, because obviously we needed to look for actual real life tigers running around us. And so our brain is designed that way. We're not going to undo that. So how do we start to transition into language that allows us to be in the state of being that we want? Because I would ask this of Paula, and I know my own felt experience, but I'd be curious of Paula, when you say, I am a heart in harmony, what do you notice in your entire experience of those words?
There's a total opening in my chest. There's a warmth, there's an energy, there's a whole mental construct. Like when I was, gesturing with my hands, I know what that means to me. That's the crossroads of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does that then impact somebody's frustrating you and you align yourself with who you truly are? How does that shift how you respond?
I have a place I can go to that I can moor into, that I can continue to aspire to operate from in those challenging
moments. Yes, that's the aspiration, right? It's how do I do it in those moments? Not that I'm not, I already am. And now I'm playing with how do I operate from that state of being? Huge difference.
Nice differentiation. Thank you.
Yeah, powerful. What else is showing up for folks?
Quick interruption. And I just want to say thank you so much for being on my channel, for liking and subscribing to the work that I'm doing. It means a great deal to me, and I'm very appreciative of it. I also want to extend an invitation to my monthly Q&As so that you have an opportunity. If you're a coach, it's my treat. Sign up below or follow the link, and you can come each month and have an opportunity to get a resource development CCE, as well as participate in a really rich conversation about how we show up as coaches and what we would like to have be playing with in our own work, basically. So you are invited, and thank you for being here. So at the end of this conversation that I had, one of the things that there were several things that showed up. One of them was the observation that the thinker was, when they came up with their aspirational egg, they even named it as, I am aspirationally a heart in harmony. And it was interesting, one of the observations around how hard it is sometimes to make that switch into I am this positive thing. Yet it was so easy for the thinker to say, I am a great doubter of myself. Like that's a motto, right? That somebody might have, and how important it is to be able to basically craft a different story. Like that is probably true. And yet that isn't the space in which you're going to resolve any of the problems that show up in our lives, is if I'm just a great doubter of myself. But that flows so much easier off our brain than if we were saying, I am a heart in harmony. And so I think it's really important to acknowledge that part of this egg is this transformation from one state to another state. And I also think, and I may have talked about it in the video already, but our brains are designed to notice the things that aren't working. So changing these habits takes time. And we may notice, like it may become a thing of just noticing that I even speak this way to myself so that I can shift the language and I'm a great doubter of myself. Wait, no, hold on. Yes, I am, but that isn't the point. I'm also a heart and a harmony. And how does this energetic shift change how we show up and the compass that we're holding to guide us through how we want to be in the world that we find ourselves? There was also a really great question about a missed opportunity that I had, which was when the thinker talked about the little rocks that were on the desk of all the different types of rocks and stones, but they were all little hearts, and that I didn't pick up on that. And I think if I had had more time, I definitely might have gone back to that. But it was at that moment, as I recall, that's when the thinker mentioned that I'm a great doubter of myself. And so I think I went with that instead because I felt like that was more important. But I think that that was such a great observation by one of the observers. And again, you can see this on the longer version on my website, but I think it was a great observation by one of the observers that was a choice point, and I chose not to use it. And it would have been a great choice point should I have decided to use it. And then, we talk about so much more on the monthly Q&A. So please, if you are at all interested in hearing the entire debrief and in hearing the entire conversation with the other coaches that were on the call, please, please, please go sign up. I look forward to seeing you on a third Monday sometime soon. Cheers.